All right, so we're going to keep going. Service management. I'm going to touch on one piece today, which is the components. So in service management, you have the service item. I'm going to call it, actually, let's call it SRVI. So we don't have sales invoice as a, so SRVI, that's a service item. And you can actually connect to the service item components. So you'll have, component 1, component 2, component 3, but those are also service items. So every service item 1, 2, 3. So it's important to link these things together, because if the tech is working on, let's say, the master item, usually the master item is the one that is reported failing. The tech needs to know what sub-items are there. So in our case, we're actually using the Surface computer, and we're going to use as a component the actual computer, which is like a tablet. And then we have a keyboard, and then we have a power supply. So those are the components that make up a Surface computer, and that's how we're going to work it through. So let's see how I set that up in the system. Okay, so we're going to go forward with the service management, and in here we're going to talk about the components. So if I go into my item list, and this is just standard items in Business Central, what I've done, I actually created several more items. So we have the Surface computer right here, which is the main item. And then we also have a Surface keyboard, power supply, and the tablet. So the Surface computer is made out of these 3 items here. But all of them will have serial number individually. So if I go back into my main list here and take a look at service items. So I've created these 4 items also as service items, and they have serial numbers here. And so we have the computer, the tablet, the power supply, and the keyboard. And I would like to create a relationship between these, because the tablet, power supply, and keyboard are basically the elements that make up the computer. So if I go into the computer itself, I can go into Navigate Components, and I can specify the service items that are the components here. So, and I've done that already. I actually listed out the keyboard, power supply, and tablet. There's a couple of interesting things about this, though. For example, I could make the computer be a component of the computer. So it doesn't really stop me from that. Oh, it does. Okay. Well, good. So, because that would not have made sense. So anyways, so I'm just able to get these in here. Also, what is interesting is that, let's say if I sell the computer to a customer, but I like to capture all of these components as the as also at the customer site and being installed. So we'll see how that flows out actually later, but we would want, of course, all of those components to be created and installed and all the serial numbers captured. But what I've done so far is I have basically manually said that they are all installed at the Adatum Corporation. But technically, it's all one piece, basically, or at least one bundle. So, that it introduces a sort of a tricky scenario.